This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, PlainFM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Next up, it's a PlainFM feature interview, keeping you in touch with the people and events happening in our Canterbury community. Hello, and welcome to another PlainFM feature. Today, keeping you in touch with Tom Geigenschrey,
yes,
aka TTG, from Berlin, and he's accompanied here in the studio today by Paul Kean from the Bats and from Minisnap. How are you guys today?
Very good. Yeah, lovely, actually. We've gone from a very hot day to a very cold day, so our bodies are adapting.
That is right. And Tom, TTG, do you still live in Germany?
Yes, I'm returning actually on the 17th of March.
All right. So, how long have you been in New Zealand for this?
2.5 months. I spread everything I could do as a visitor.
All right. So you have been doing like a lot of touring around here as well, or mostly just...
No, I toured every town. Even Wellington is on the 10th. I'm going to Wellington to go do a studio thing with a guy called Amos Man with the Spent Sensations, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing.
And Joe Contact, and so the people, also musicians there.
All right. So, listeners, the reason why we're bringing you TTG and Paul Kean today is because this Saturday there is a show, an event at the Space Academy. It's going on this Saturday, the 8th of March, where TTG is going to be performing with Paul Kean and other Kiwi artists. So, the first thing that I naturally did when I saw this information was try to find anything online to see if there was something about TTG playing already with some Kiwi artists. And I actually did find some videos. So can you guys tell me a little bit about this musical relationship? How many times have you been here in New Zealand, TTG? What is the background of the whole thing?
The background is I'm a big Kiwi fan and I'm also a big Kraut fan. So I related this, I brought this together because actually in my youth I listened to a lot of music, but then sometimes Can appeared in Kraftwerk and all this Kraut, and I thought this is my music from my home ground, and I was amazed about everything. So Can was picking out, and Kraftwerk, and so I listened to this. And later I began to be a Kiwi fan because they were distributed to Germany over rough trade. And so I was a music journalist, and I picked out exceptional things, like rare things, and I said, this is cool, Kiwis, okay. So I listened to that. I found a relation between Kiwi and Kraut because Virgin Records actually imported some stuff from Tangerine Dream and so to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so this came back because the people listened to it and transformed it to their own music. So it was once Beatles, jingly-jangly thing, and the other thing was this groovy Can and repetitive noise things, from Neu, from the band. And so the combination fascinated myself totally.
Yeah.
Right.
I must admit to when I was about 17, 18, I had a friend who imported records, and Can and Neu were amongst some of his records, and Kraftwerk too. So I was exposed to it very early on in my musical career, I suppose you'd call it.
Right.
And we also drifted into some Velvet Underground and doing a kind of a mantric rock type vibe to it. So we loved that, and I think it's influenced our music in some way. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you saw this Kiwi movement with a little bit of influence from maybe what your music back home was, and you saw it developed maybe in a way that caught your attention.
Yes.
Was that the reason why you decided to reach out or maybe even come to New Zealand and meet some of the musicians? How was that step?
The thing started when I was 20. I was just carrying out a newspaper, Left Wing, which just started, was called the Taz. It was a German Berlin newspaper, Left Wing. And so I carried out bring it to the pubs. But then I thought maybe I should write about underground music. Nobody writes about underground music, so this was a thing, indie coming up. And I was just deciding to go to this editor from this music and said, I bring you one article about a band I like. So, would you print it? And they said, it's good. You come back tomorrow, you get this job for this underground section. I said, okay. So I was one of the first indie journalists in Berlin. It was 82. And there was a woman, a kind of nurse. She dropped her job and she was into punk, Monika Döring, and she founded The Loft. The Loft was a thing, a big club, a little club and a big club at Metropol in the middle of Berlin. And she discovered Birthday Party and these bands, and she did concerts with them, and the people said, oh, this is cool, this is new, there's no mainstream, and so all people came, and I was the one who wrote about all these things. A house writer, you know.
Yeah, nice. So we've talked about your origin, about finding this Kiwi music through your journalist job. But you are also a musician. You play the violin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is that correct? So can you tell us a little bit about your musical roots? What took you to start with music? Do you maybe have parents that are music adepts as well, or did you grow up around music?
It was a combination. First, I had to learn the violin because my uncle was forming the group, Neue Musik, group of new music. And my uncle said, you should learn an unconventional instrument, not guitar, but I wanted guitar. But he said this to stick out. So I had this strange way, this hard way. I learned it the hard way. So I had a classical teacher from the first violinist of the Philharmonic Orchestra. He treated me really bad, you know, and one day I said, I don't come, I have tummy ache. And he said, then you haven't come, you don't have to come again. So he threw me out, but then I took the violin with me and discovered Bowie and Noy, blah, blah, blah. And then I was brought to boarding school where I met some people who said, we are into Zappa and Beefheart and so, and also maybe, you also can. And they said, come, let's groove a bit, but you don't play classical notes, just by ear. And so I learned improvisation by ear with them. And they called me Tom Tom because I'm Thomas Tom. So Tom Tom, and then I played. And so this was a connection. When I was a music journalist in this left-wing thing, I just got connections with many bands. And sometimes I just went to the concerts and said, do you need a violin as an encore? And they said, no. Oh, yes. And then I had the jobs because normally they liked it and took me on tour. Like the Mozart Face was ex-Angry Simone's people. They totally were amazed about it. So I took them. They took me on tour. That's a connection.
Wow, that's awesome.
Beside music journalism. So this started two parallel things.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. Now, Paul,
Thanks.
Hello.
When did you get to meet Tom Tom?
Actually, someone contacted me by phone and said, "There's this guy, German guy here that he was looking for people to play with." And I thought, okay, and found out a little bit more about the music. And it turned out that I'd kind of partially met Tom Tom many years ago when he was over as a journalist with a tour for Flying Nun's 10th anniversary through New Zealand.
Yes.
And I distinctly remembered him in the street outside the venue that we played at here in Christchurch, and there was Tom Tom.
I was a music journalist from Germany.
So that kind of, it was lovely. It connected me in another way, you know? And I thought, let's have a wee play, and invited him to come round to our place, and just the two of us, and we just improvised, and it was wonderful. It felt really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I thought, we need a drummer, or we need some other people. We didn't need a drummer though, did we?
No, we didn't. Yeah. And the guy who connected us was a friend of me, and the tech roadie of Bilders. You know, I played with Bilders in Berlin when he was he had residence there. You know, as a beat poet, he wanted to go to Bilders. So Bilders met me, and I played with him. And his friend is Ben Crawford here in Christchurch. He's a dear. And he just said, let's call all these flying nun people that they know that you're here. And I said, oh, don't do this, please. And I said, yes, but I do this. And then he got him on the phone.
Yes, a shout out to Ben Crawford.
Yes, genau. Actually, you're a good one.
Well, listeners, we have been talking for a little while now, and you may all be wondering, okay, this all sounds really fascinating, but we actually want to hear what this music is all about, what the songs are all about. So just before we continue with the interview right now, we're going to play the first song. This song is from an album from TTG. Is the name of the album Pi?
P, yeah.
P. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like TT, it's the same, spelling. TT.
Of course.
And P is the Greek letter, so I thought this is connected. P is endless, and this is improvisation is endless, like this,
Yeah, oh, that's amazing.
Infinite possibilities.
That's it, yeah.
Right.
And this album also, the cover art, you were saying that this is a picture of your father who was painter.
An informal painter. Informal is what invented by Jackson Pollock. He's just spreading around with colors and very wild and anarchistic. So this was a not figurative painting in the 60s.
Yeah.
He began this, and my father connected to this and brought this to Berlin with a group Informel, and so they just do action painting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, listeners, if you go to the Space Academy website or you find this event online, you're going to see that the poster of it, the art piece that is there, it also belongs to TTG's dad. And the first song that we want to play today is called Sea of Total Darkness. That was Sea of Total Darkness by TTG, Wall of Violin, TT Tribute of the Renderers. That was absolutely amazing. Now, we are back here in the studio with TTG, Tom Geigenschrey, and Paul Kean from the Bats, because they're going to be playing this coming Saturday, the 8th of March, at the Space Academy. Can you guys remind us what time is the event?
The doors open at 8 o'clock, and we'll be on stage with performances from 8:30. There'll be some playlists before and during the breaks. But the opening act is a new group called The Glass Eye, which is made up of Dave Mulcahy and John Billows.
They remind me on the early orchestral maneuvers of In the Dark.
Yeah.
For example, or Fat Gadget. They're really good.
Yeah,
okay.
As a duo. And then Stephen Cogle and Nicole and
Moffat, from the Terminals.
Yeah, and Peter Vangiani are going to do a short set as well, featuring some of the songs that Stephen Cogle has probably composed. I think it's mostly his.
Oh, yes.
And then from there we'll kind of evolve the gig with maybe some improvisational stuff, and then go into doing a set that comprises some songs from Sundae Painters and Tall Dwarves and Toy Love. And Stephen Cogle's going to join us singing on the Toy Love songs, yeah.
Oh, all of that sounds absolutely amazing. So, Otatahi, if you are listening out, you got to be there by 8 p.m. The doors open. You can have a little beer while you wait with an amazing playlist. And then all of these great acts are going to be following on in the night, which absolutely sounds absolutely amazing. Now, TTG, this might be a little bit of a broad question, but what kind of music have you delved into in your career?
Oh, all kind of, because I'm very open-minded. The only thing I don't do is tangos, because always people say, you play violin, can you play the tango? I said, no. Or flamenco or something. Or klezmer is not my cup of tea, but the other ones is all, even modern music like Ligeti or Schönberg is my cup of tea if I do modern improvisation. Like the Secret of Sound Festival here in Auckland, it was all free form, and I liked it a lot. But then I said, it's about like beep, boop, boop, oh, too much, so it's too strict. I go on and do some rocking, and they really were amazed to break the rules, So that's it. I'm always trying to break into new terrain. And so I'm open-minded. That's what I do. And I try to develop all my life. So
that's awesome.
Like swing, I want to do it all a bit, not on one.
Was there ever maybe a style or a genre that you came across that at the beginning you were like, nah, maybe this is not for me, and now you're like, oh, this has absolutely helped me develop my tool set?
No, actually it was free jazz in the first, because informal is also like free jazz. And first I thought I couldn't relate to it, but then I thought my father, I understood his painting, and I just began to dive into it. And like Yoko Ono, nobody likes her, but I just told Paul I had this first Yoko Ono record, which was the same cover than the John Lennon solo, and I accidentally put this on and said, oh God. But then I listened again, and so I was the early one for 13 years to get into Yoko Ono and also free jazz, and opened up my mind. And so I went on and said, experimental music is also not bad, like this. I'm without prejudice normally, just opening up. That's a good thing to go into the world, I think.
He was playing some pretty poppy stuff. We had a drive around the Port Hills a couple of weeks back, and we had turns at playing music, and he was he was pulling out some interesting songs.
Yeah, the glitter band. I put out Angel Face. I loved this in my childhood, but I also loved some strange. I loved Peter Brotzmann, his free jazz icon, you know.
Yeah.
But if you combine it, no way. But it's fun to combine this, or just to love it both ends of the world.
Sounds like you may confuse the Spotify algorithm quite a lot with
Yes.
everything you listen and all of your
No,
eclectic.
exactly. I'm not to
Trying
be
to break it.
I'm not to be categorized. That's a big problem with me, but I don't care.
But that is brilliant. Just not stick with one thing, explore it all.
I always loved this kind of attitude. You hardly find this in music, in Cosmos, because some of the best can do this. Some of the best.
All right. So,
Like
Paul.
David Bowie.
like David Bowie.
But he
yes.
was not so extreme. But maybe, yes. The Beatles were so expert, you know, on the White Album. You find many styles on the White Album.
Yeah, that is correct.
So
they do vary quite a lot in that one album.
Yeah.
Go from very poppy 3-chord songs to Revolution Number 9. You know?
Exactly. That's a Yoko Ono one. I love it.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Paul, we were talking just before we started about the songs that we wanted to play here in the interview today, and you mentioned also wanting to play one. So would you mind introducing that one and we can play it just ahead?
Okay, a Sundae Painters song, which is Kay, Malcolm and myself, along with Hamish Kilgour. We recorded that before he died. And one of my favourite songs off that is Thin Air.
All right, awesome. So we're going to listen to Thin Air, performed by
The Sundae Painters.
Thank
Spelt
you.
with A-E at the end, like Sunday ice cream.
There you go. So you guys can find it online as well. And that was Thin Air. Thank you very much for introducing that, Paul. That was amazing as well. We are back here in the studio with TTG, Tom Geigenschrey, and Paul Kean, who are going to be playing on the at Space Academy this Saturday, 8th of March at 8 p.m. We are almost finishing here the interview today. So just to start wrapping up, and remember, if you're just tuning in, you can go to our website, plainsfm.org.nz, and listen to this via podcast. It is going to be available there as well. And you can check all of the other Plains FM features that we have. And remember to also check our Artist Spotlight, because one of the people that are here today, Paul Kean, already had visit us to do another sort of interviews for another show that it's called Artist Spotlight. Those Artist Spotlight interviews play in our Ototahi Music Hour that plays every Wednesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. So, TTG and Paul, right now you guys have the Space Academy show coming up, but what is next for you guys? Either together or separately, is there anything else coming up shortly? Let's start with you, Tom.
Yeah, I'm going back to Berlin, and I have a kind of all-star band. I only play with all-stars, you know. I'm going around to very good people who I like, not if they're famous. But if they're famous, I don't care. I just ask them, you want to play with me? I have an impro crowd band. You can bring in whatever you want. We compose together. And my newest program from 2 years ago is I'm doing soundtracks to silent movies, but rare ones, not the popular like Metropolis. Everybody did this.
Yeah.
But we also don't do this ping, ping, ping piano music or organ to this. We just do crowd rock. And the last edition is with a very good clarinet player. One of the famous jazz ones here is Theo Jürgensmann from Germany. He's playing clarinet. He's 75 years old. He's playing with me now. And a guy from Crime and the City Solution, you know, Nick Cave surrounding. Chris Hughes plays drums. And on the bass is Mark Bäumer from a jazz band from Berlin, Grey Paris. And the Pyrolators play with me. Is from Düsseldorf, from this Kraftwerk surrounding the sons of Kraftwerk, like Der Plan and DIF, Deutsch-Amerikanische. He's coming from this. So this combination of styles and musicians from different parts will do a soundtrack to the film The Man Who Laughs from Konrad from Paul Leni from the 20s. It's really rare. It's a kind of pre-Joker film because the guy can't stop grinning. So we do this on the 22nd of March when I'm just coming back to do this.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
In Berlin. Going back.
In Berlin with my all-stars. So I have all-stars here. But this is not showing up. It's just interesting. Also, unknown people I play with, you know, it's just picking people who are diverse, but combine them and it's cool.
I'm a little bit curious about that event. So you are getting together with a lot of friends to put music to silent films,
right?
Unconventional silent films,
right?
Is this happening like in a closed door, or are you inviting people to see it happen live, or are you recording it?
Both. Oh, all of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's also taking place in a big venue where the show, they have parties, but they have also a big screen and a beamer. And so we just show these films without language, only with the subtitles.
Yeah.
So it's no speaking.
Yeah.
And then we just improvise to that live. And the people
awesome.
Mostly sing, because I'm improv composer, they mostly think that we just cheat on them. We just had a record and repeat, but we don't. We just improv compose.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Now, this may sound a little bit generic because it may just be the one and only silent movie from Germany that I know, but I would be really, really interested to see a rendition of your improvisation over the cabinet of Dr. Caligari or something like that.
Yeah, but this is also too much played. But actually, Karl Bartos from Kraftwerk just did it
Right, and you are focusing more on more unconventional.
Yes, because I feature innocent unknown people and unknown films. This is my thing. Like with the independent things in the first place, I was always there when the Einstützen-Neubauten were founded. I was there. I'm always there when people came and years later than they. I said I was there. Nobody believes me, but it's like the pioneer thing. That's me.
All right. Yeah. Not. It's kind of like that principle of not all great people are famous, right? Some of them just are a little bit more independent and underground, and it's really good that you focus your art into that and bringing these people more up. I try to
feature things and bring them up like this independent things. If they're famous enough, they don't need me anymore.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Now, Paul, what is next for you after playing this gig at Space Academy? Is there anything coming up with the Bats or with Minisnap?
The Bats have got an album which was finished, and it's not too far off coming out. We made a video for that. Called Low Line. It's good. Cool. I'm also on a funny side project called the Skeatles, which are skiffleized Beatles songs.
I love that.
And I'm playing at Christchurch Space. So we're doing a gig at erteur in the Arts Centre coming up on the 14th. So that's next week. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And it keeps me fit. It's hard work. I've got to play one string on a Christchurch box. The
Skeatles, that's one of the projects from Backyard Music, right? From
Davey.
From Davey. So Davey was here with us like maybe 3 weeks ago for an Artist Spotlight interview.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely amazing. We talked about the Skeatles. We talked about the one-man band.
Yeah, cool. And he's been very busy teaching people how to play harmonica like Bob Dylan.
That's right.
With the movie coming out. I also seem to want to keep organising events. It's being part of my life. So I'm organising a show for Jay Clarkson and the Containers, who are releasing an album on the around the 29th. In fact, it's at Space Academy again.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. So, listeners, if you are checking now Space Academy to see how you can attend this event that is happening on Saturday, make sure to check out all of their other gigs as well. They always have very interesting things going on. All right, guys, we are running a little bit out of time today. We do want to play one last song, but before we go, where can our listeners find you and your music in social media, TomTom?
I'm not a really big fan on Spotify and so on, but I think I'm on it now, accidentally. I don't know. But, you have those distribution things like DistroKid or some. They put you there.
Yes.
I'm a member now, but before I didn't. So actually you can find me on Geigenschrey YouTube. Just give in this. Geigenschrey and Geigenschrey Bandcamp is my thing because they just give a bigger share to the artist. Bandcamp is still cooler, so you find me on Bandcamp Geigenschrey. So.
That is absolutely
and YouTube.
True.
The other things is not.
That is absolutely right. And we actually do always make a little spot here for Bandcamp. So remember, listeners, yes, you can listen to your artists in Spotify, in YouTube, in Apple Music, everywhere. But if you really support an artist and you want to show them your support, go to their Bandcamp. If they have a Bandcamp and you get their stuff through there, you are supporting the artist in the most direct way. Other than going to their live gigs, of course.
Yes.
All right. So, Paul, can you remind us where people can find you in social media?
Bandcamp's number one for us. We do have quite a few videos out there too on YouTube, and we've got a site called The Bats and Good Company.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, all of your other projects are linked to The Bats. You can find them through The Bats.
You should be able to, especially on the YouTube site, but some on the Bandcamp site too. We've got some Minisnap and some solo projects and weird rare things. Yeah, and there's actually a small clip of Tom and I playing at Flying Nun. It's a very short little clip, along with Thomas Ispista from Yurt Party on drums.
Yeah, Yurt Party has also been here before.
Yeah, he's really a lovely man.
He's a good man. He's really good. Yes.
Off on tour at the moment. I think they're touring New Zealand with Yurt Party.
Absolutely amazing. All right. The last song that we are going to play today is called Melancholia, and TTG was telling me a little bit about it before we played it. So do you want to tell our listeners, just before we wrap up, about this song and about what it means to you or why you did it?
Yes. As a father, I have two sons. I just related two songs. One is Little Nemo in Slumberland, related to Winsor McKay's first comics ever. This is Little Nemo. I played it on the other radio station in Dunedin, I think, yeah. And now my other son, who is equally loved, should get the tribute. It's called Melancholia, because they're both a bit melancholic, but good dreamers. And so this is the one, Melancholia. I did this, and I have to tell, this is all based on drums and violin, because I had so many useless guitar players who couldn't improvise to me. I could improvise to them, but not back. So I told all my drummers, is somebody useful coming? No. And the other one was fired from me, and so we had to do it as a drum and violin thing. This is one of the drum. And I had two sons. I dedicated one, or the other one, to one of them. And this is Melancholia, because my other drummer said, okay, let's do a beat. And I told him how to do the beat, dum dum ch, like this. And he did it. And I developed a melody. And I said, this is good. I should call it Melancholia.
That's amazing.
He's Milan. That's Melancholia Milan, you know?
That's right. That's Melancholia, M-I-L-A.
And he's just in Berlin now, keeping up things, because somebody has to care for my apartment and for the band posters from my next... That's him. So big shout out to him, Milan.
That's amazing. Well, Tom, thank you very much for joining us today. Paul, thank you very much for joining us and for helping us organize this. I wish you guys the absolute best for your coming event on Space Academy and all future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, listeners, the interview is over, but we do have that last song before you go, so just stick around as we listen to Melancholia by TTG.
a PlainFM featured interview, keeping you in touch with what's happening in our Canterbury community.